Hello again, this is Becca, usually going by Netcat or Netcat's Meow when online, and welcome back for another week dealing with linden scripting language. Now, I know not everybody in this that follows these videos is necessarily into Second Life for roleplay purposes, but this is a thing I get asked a lot by people when I meet them in world, because I do go to a number of roleplay sims. And that is how you create what we refer to as an in-character talker or an in-character chatter. It's just simply a chat relay device that will allow you to speak in a character name without having to go through and adjust your Second Life username. And I'm going to show you actually how to create one real quick. They're pretty simple. I don't even bother to keep them anymore. I just literally write a new one whenever I find myself with need of it. But I'm going to show you all the ins and outs of making one of these work. As so often we do, you can start with your Mark I cube. You're going to want to pick a channel to talk on. 2 or 3 are pretty common choices. We're going to make this one on a channel 2. You're going to be able to use get owner, since you only want the person who has it to actually be able to use it, and you don't really need to filter anything else here. If you're making this for somebody else, here's a little caveat you want to use. You want an on-res event where you reset script. This basically is whenever it's brought out of inventory, either to be worn on the avatar or to be placed in world, it will reset the script. This is because once in a while, the permissioning system doesn't update everything right. What that is if we go in here, by default, this object only has transfer permission. So if I give it to somebody else, they could give it to another person, but it would be the only copy they have. If I turn on all of those permissions, you also have to do that for the script inside. Bear in mind, if you set it to full permission, people can look at the script. For something like this, it's simple enough. But if you're making something that you really don't want just everybody to be able to copy, you want to not give it modify permissions or full permissions. But when you transfer something, it doesn't always update who the owner is. The script doesn't always remember who the owner is when you transfer it. So telling it to reset will reset the get owner parameter. It will forget that you ever had it, which is only important if you're going to give this to someone else. And if you hang around in RP sims and you're the only person they know who can code, then sometimes you're going to wind up giving them to somebody else. So it's a thing that will happen. It doesn't always screw up, but it happens often enough that it's good. It's a good thing to be aware of. Now, in this case, we don't have to do all of the usual care for securing the listen because we have it set to only listen to the owner anyway. Since this is a thing that you're going to be typing out yourself, if it were a HUD, we wouldn't be able to do that since the key of your HUD, or I should say if you're controlling an object with a HUD, which we covered in previous videos, it would be the HUD talking to the object, not you talking to the object. So you wouldn't be able to use get owner in there and you'd have to secure the listen. But we don't have to worry about that here. This is much, much simpler. Now, a thing you may want to do to make it easier to keep track of the object, or if you're running low on attachment points, which in a roleplay sim is not an unusual problem, you may want to have it adjust its name. Name changes only really stick if you're doing it manually, or if you have it resed in world. If it's worn at the time, then they don't always take. This is very convenient if you're going to drop this into another object in order to save on space. If you're keeping it its own object, it's still convenient so you can name it whatever you want for convenience. What I'm talking about is simply set object name. Wandering cat. then say 0, message. Forgot my semicolon there. So now if I type /2 test, you see it come from that object as wandering cat. I can type test, nightcat Rebecca window, test, /2 test, wandering cat. It's a simple little tool for any place where you want to present a specific name that's not your regular username. Easy thing to do. Now, the two things to keep in mind with doing this are, if you watch this thing closely, you saw that flicker and those little particles around it. Those tend to get annoying. And how we deal with that is not actually through script. It has to do with where we put it. For convenience sake, I'm going to call it wandering chatter. Object. Let's put it on the avatar somewhere. Since I have an open spot, we'll put it on the mouth. I put it here. You still get that big particle swarm. You can see how that could get a little annoying in interaction. So we detach it. Attach to HUD. Sitting right there. Nothing. There's nothing to it whatsoever. So if like some of the people who've asked me about it in person that are fresh to Second Life Roleplay wondered how that happens, that's how. So, I know this is a quick little video, but it's something a lot of people in Second Life RP have asked me about time and again. So now I can refer you all to this little video. And for anybody else, this gives you a hint if you've been annoyed by those particle spam from objects that communicate with you. There's a way to keep it public without having to set it to get owner, because you won't get those particles if you have it set to get owner, or at least other people won't see them. So another little simple video there. I'm getting back into the swing of balancing my new work along with these videos, so they should be getting back to the classic styling y'all are accustomed to as I get used to balancing everything all over again. So that's it though for this week. So as usual, good day, good luck, happy coding, and there should be another of these videos up Tuesday by noon.